pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, it looks like we're still going with Mr. Olson with our
Okay.
mega statement.
All right. All students will graduate prepared with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors necessary to achieve their personal goals and to make a positive impact in the world.
All right, thank you, Mr. Olson. Next is we will move on to the welcome and guideline for public comment. What I will say about the public comment is simply I'll just remind everybody of the rules, 3 minutes for each person. We do have a rule in our board that any particular topic is limited to 20 minutes and we can't expand that. We can expand the overall time, but on particular topic related items, it's 20 minutes. So please respect that and make sure that everybody can get through. All right, with that in mind, do we have anybody that is going to be speaking on, well, first, non-agenda related public comment?
No one for non-agenda.
Right, and what about agenda related public comment?
Yes.
Okay, how many people do we have signed up?
2.
All right. We will have 3 shortly. Okay. Well, let's start with who's first on the list.
Amanda Hill-Hobley.
Amanda Hill-Hobley. Please make sure you state your name and your address.
Sure. Do I need to in a particular location or is this?
You can do whatever you want.
All right. My name is Amanda Hill-Hobley. I reside at 921 West Willow Street in Chippewa Falls. I'm speaking on behalf of the Wolt donation, particularly to support the Cardinal United Fitness Center that's being proposed by the Athletic Booster Club. I bring a different perspective to this request. I'm a part of the Booster Club. I have a curriculum and instruction job here in the district. I'm a former coach, and my kids are starting in kindergarten this year at Hillcrest. So, you know, family and parent perspective. But this project is many years in the making. It addresses a lot of needs, actually, not only within the school from a facility standpoint, but also from an academic standpoint. Inclusionary practices for students, safety for students, the facilities that we have right now. Though, yes, it's a booster club and we are supporting athletics, the facilities will benefit 100% of our students who go through physical education and health classes. So it is a unique proposal that way, that it does include core academics. One thing that I would like to address is when reading through the proposals and the pro-con list that was generated by AI, I did see some discrepancies, and so I'm just letting the board know that when you do cast a vote on this, to really read through all of the supporting documentation that's been provided, not just the pro-con list, because what's listed as pros for one project are listed as cons for another, and vice versa, so that's a problem. But one thing I would like to recommend through this process is that there actually be an interview process with what you consider to be your top project proposals. You can sit and actually have a conversation with individuals who have been working intimately with the projects. The ramifications that were put on our proposals were kind of minimal in terms of the amount of words and how we could do that. So in order to make an informed decision, I would recommend that the board consider the process and include an interview piece. Again, with that being said, because the pro-con list wasn't necessarily factual for our project, it does impact core academics. It does serve both an immediate and a long-term need. It does serve the facilities recommendations that have been put out by ATS&R that the district has been working with. So I just want people to exercise caution when they're using that list and really get to know the project itself. A couple of things I noted with the other projects, including ours, is it talks about facility funding and having to use outside sources. Referendums and building referendums we've seen are not things that our community might support at the secondary level. So we might want to consider how we use donations and public funds through private fundraising to be able to help with our facilities in the future, because it might not come through those referendum dollars that should typically be funding these things. So again, exercise caution when you listen to and read about these projects, and please consider holding an interview process with the proposals and the teams that put them together.
Thank you, Ms. Hill-Hobley. Who do we have next?
Steve Gibbs.
Steve Gibbs. Your Honor.
I also support the Cardinal Fitness Center that we've been working on. artificial intelligence is just that, artificial. I've used it once in my life to give me a home list of the Steel games off of the thing, and it was 60% correct. I don't trust it. I know that you guys are a lot more intelligent than the artificial intelligence that's out there. I've sat on a number of fundraising committees and grant committees, and we ask for a lot of different things other than just the initial proposal. We would follow up and ask, we'd have interviews allowing each grant applicant to give the pros and cons of to allow you to ask questions that aren't on the paper. So I would suggest, if you're going to do a process to award this money, that you allow each applicant a time, maybe have a special meeting where people can come in and give their pitch on why you should fund their project. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gibbs, and we have a third.
Trevor Bertrand? Say that right?
Close.
Hey, fix it, I don't.
That's right. Trevor Boland, former Chi Booster Club president. I'm not going to really talk about the Booster Club. I think Amanda Hobley did a fantastic job talking about the academic portion of it and how a collaboration about the physical education part of the school. Mine really is going to be about community, because I think it's the one time they really potentially could see a complete collaboration between private, public funding sources, and we don't get those opportunities very often. I think there's a lot of things that can spill out of this as it relates to other organizations at the high school and school district level, be it music, be it other endeavors. But I think really the piece that hones in for me from a community collaboration is really the need, I think, that is throughout as it relates to physical health and as it relates to mental health. And I think the two are combined together. I think this is an excellent opportunity that you can bring community, school, kids, older adults, all together under one roof. That is truly something, in my opinion, very special. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Boland. Anybody else?
That's it.
All right, then that concludes the agenda-related public comment. Concludes the public comment. So, next is 5.01, which is the Booster Club donation, and that is going to be Mr. Gibbs and Mr. Thompson presenting on that.
Well, this is my favorite time every year, to be able to come before you and present the big check to support our athletic department. None of this at all would be possible without our great coaches, our great supporters, the parents, and most of all the community. The community backs us in what we do. We made over $50,000 last year in our concession stand. The kids' raffle that they sell brought us almost $20,000. Our program that is handed out brings in almost $25,000. On and on and on with other little fundraisers that we have. I think last year we were over $300,000 raised. Most importantly is our extravaganza, and I know most of you attend that extravaganza. And last year, we raised $197,000 in a single evening to give back to athletics. It's really, really heartwarming when we're able to do something like this. This is money that you don't have to come up with. This is money that you're not cutting departments or anything like that you don't have to come up with. This is all what the Booster Club does. And people ask me time and again, how do you do it? How do you do it? And I said, well, first off, we get everybody rowing the boat in the same direction. Other schools, the football team will do this fundraiser, and the basketball team will do this fundraiser, and someone else will do this fundraiser. We have all the coaches that have bought in under Mike's tutelage at the athletic department to row the boat in the same direction, not fighting. They know one year that the volleyball standards that the WA just came out with that are $16,000 each, and we need 4 of them, have to be in. And then the next year, the football team needs so many helmets because they have expired. The coaches buy into that. We've had coaches actually said, you gave me everything I needed last year, and one of them was a big ticket item. I'm not asking for anything this year. That's how our community works at it. So that when people ask me, how do you do it? I said, you wouldn't understand because you're not from Chippewa. Because only in Chippewa are we able to do the things that we do here. Our community supports us. Our school district supports us. Our parents, our donors support us, and everything goes great. This year was also a milestone. This coming year is our 25th year, but last year in our 24th, we went over $2 million raised at the extravaganza alone. That's unheard of. What did you make the first year, Coach?
18,500.
18,500. If you just think about the power of what we're able to do here in Chippewa, it's unbelievable that people are such giving, and the donors that come there that night and spend the money, they're all happy when they walk out, even when they don't win. I know I dropped a lot of money last year. My wife won, but I didn't. But funny thing is I put all my tickets and the stuff I wanted. I threw one in a large screen TV, and of course I won the large screen TV because no one has enough of them, right? So without further ado, I would like to present Mike Thompson. With a check for $145,000. And this is to support the athletic department. I call it Christmas in June. Mike has the coaches give their requests, and for the last 8 years, I believe, we were able to grant every single coach's request and still have more money to put toward other endeavors that we're looking at. Our new video board on the school really uses that a lot. That is a benefit to the school that the Booster Club 100% paid for. You allowed us to keep the revenue to help pay for it, but it's just a great thing that we're doing here today. Mike, what would you like to say?
As working alongside of the Booster Club allows you to work alongside community members, and obviously I'm from here, grew up here, and it's an honor to be able to take on something even bigger than yourself. And I think when you do those things, you start getting connections with people, and kind of like what Mr. Boland mentioned with community, you get that true feeling here, and the extravaganza and booster clubs and soccer games. But Coach Rajkovic is a guy that started it all. And Coach Rajkovic recently got inducted into the National High School Coaches Association Hall of Fame. He's getting inducted into our Hall of Fame this upcoming Thursday night. I think he's got some peeping Toms here to be able to see him. But I'd like to be able to congratulate Coach in front of the school board as well for his most recent accolades, which are very well done.
The window.
What time's practice tomorrow? 3. Y'all know that, right? Hey,
How about the school fight song?
hey. I dismissed these guys early from practice today. It wasn't really a nice dismissal because we expect a lot more out of what we got out of them today. Hey, you guys know I love you, right? Yes, and you know every other coach does. We need you to come to practice ready to work and not do what you did today. Can we get that done? Yes, sir. I'm sorry I have to talk to you about it now. I'm sorry to all you people that have to hear this. But I didn't have a chance. I was a little irate after practice. I didn't have a chance to tell you. You guys know we're here for you. Let's have a better practice tomorrow, can we? And thanks for showing up. Thanks, guys.
Are these your seniors? Or
There's
no variety of?
There's a variety of them.
Good job, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Can I talk about the extravaganza for a second? The extravaganza is unbelievable. There's people that come from out of state to it. There's people that go to a lot of different fundraisers like NRA, Ducks Unlimited, whatever, and they come and they say, there's nothing like what we have. You go to a lot of them, they'll have shotguns, rifles, whatever. We've got things for everybody. And it all comes from the community of Chippewa Falls. But these guys, Mike, I know he doesn't like to hear this, but he's the best athletic director on earth. I'm telling you. He's all for the kids. He's all for the kids. You go into school, when the bell rings, he's standing against a wall handing out mints to kids, right? How many pounds of those do you hand out in a year?
Too many to count.
Yeah. Tremendous administration staff we have, but going back to the extravaganza, it's just an unbelievable night. And again, people don't know how in the heck we do it. We have a recipe. We say we have the recipe, right? And people have called for the recipe, but Steve already alluded to what the recipe is, and the recipe is the people that we have that do this thing. We have people on the extravaganza committee that haven't had kids in school for 15 years that still come back and work at it. So it's a great event. If you haven't been there, you should come to it. How many times have you won there?
My wife's been way more lucky than I am.
Yeah, great.
Kids on that one.
I like to talk, and I'm not gonna take up your time. I know you guys don't like to come to these meetings. So I'll back out of here, but thank you for letting me be the football coach in Chippewa Falls. I love those guys. They know it. He knows it. We're gonna have better practice.
Hold on, we're not done with you.
The question and answer period.
Hold on.
So I'm gonna, as the old guy here, I'm gonna share a little history.
Wait, Rico was your coach too?
No.
Before you say that, right before the games now, we have to have this meeting, the safety meeting with the ADs, the referees, and the trainers. And they always say, our AED is over there, and I say, hey, make sure that thing's close to me. It doesn't need to be over there. So I just wanted to tell you that because I do say that.
So 1972 to 1975, Chippewa Falls never won a football game. I was in high school during that time. And in 75, it started to turn. And then 30 some odd years ago, I heard through the community that they finally found a coach, and he was willing to do anything he could to get into Chi High. The quote was he would sweep the floors to become the Chippewa Falls high school coach. That was what was running around town. And so that was the first introduction I had to Coach Rajkovic. And at Huff Cuts, if I needed some summer help and he needed a kid that needed a little more money and needed something to do, I would call up Chuck and he would send some kids my way. So the reason that this is successful at your extravaganza is a lot because of the intimidation you have of all your former students. But also, like I said, public, I'd like to say thank you. It's not just about football. I mean, my daughter learned how to drive with you. She'll never get over it, but you taught her how to drive.
Me either.
Yes. So anyway, thank you.
Coach, I got a couple of things for you too. First of all, I think it's kind of interesting that you come here, you're totally surprised by these kids, and you just immediately start coaching. It's just totally natural for you to.
I felt bad. I felt bad for kicking them out of practice, but they needed it. And I needed to see them, so that was good for me.
Secondly, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows this, but this extravaganza started by you, your brainchild, your idea, all the work initially done by you. And you'd be the first one to say, obviously, it's been taken over by some wonderful people who have put in a lot of time, but still, started by you. And it's not even a recipe that we can pass on. One other story that I think I would tell, kind of mirroring a little bit on what Steve said, I guess I have kind of the same story too. He's passed on to me a number of kids throughout the years that needed some mentoring. And, 3 of those kids, I can tell you, they are still part of our family. They're like kids to us, so, and it worked out great, and it wouldn't have happened if it was just about football for you. So, you truly do what you say, which is raise young men and women.
Well, thank you. And let me tell you a quick story about that guy. I can do this because it's the truth. When he was junior in high school, you know, I got all kinds of, he's never going to play, he's just not disciplined enough, he's this and he's that, he's this. I take a pickup load of kids down to the University of Oklahoma to a football camp. And there's about 350 kids standing in line waiting to get registered for camp. And all of a sudden, coach comes up and grabs him. Barry Switzer, I don't know if you remember the name Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer was up in his office looking down at all the kids, and he picked him out. He says, "You come on up to my office." And they offered him a full ride scholarship. So he's one of the few scholarship kids we have. Dave, your kid, Simon, is probably the best defensive lineman we've ever had, and that comes from the defensive coaches. If he was this big, I bet you'd still be playing in the NFL probably. But we've had some really good kids. And you ended up being not bad, Dave. You're not bad, considering where we started.
Well, obviously, you probably weren't here a couple days ago. Turned out somewhat okay.
How about some more questions? And
Anybody have any other questions?
I have something to say. I am unique in my perspective with this district. I'm not only was a teacher for almost 30 years, but my kids, right, came here. So I'm always grateful for not only their teachers, but all the coaches that they had for the year. My wife was on the Booster Club for many years. And I can tell you from the perspective of a teacher watching kids being able to play sports, many of them not being able to probably afford them, but because we have a $20 fee to play sports, they're able to. I've watched kids blossom in that regard. My own kids, right, learned a lot of fundamentals about life through our sports programs. As a board member, right, I got kind of a different picture, and I can't tell you how much that I am grateful that we have the Booster Club that we do. You guys do some amazing work for our kids, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
you guys ever heard Dave sing Happy Birthday? You don't know about this? Dave he'd find out kids' birthdays. He had symbols, big ones, and he'd walk right into the classroom, boom, 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 and start singing Happy Birthday. I can't believe you guys haven't heard. Would you like to hear him? Dave? You know?
It's like into a dying whale.
Yeah. One last thing I want to say, this weight room thing, it's not a weight room, it's a health facility. Just last week, we had an incident where it's so packed in there. One kid was doing an exercise with a dumbbell, and another kid was bending over to pick one up, hit him right in the eye, big gash, because there's not enough room. We need that building made. We need that room made. That's just, I gotta say that. You know I wasn't gonna come here without bringing something up about that. If you don't have any other questions, I feel kind of bad that you don't, but.
I'm sure the rest.
The only National High School Hall of Fame coach Chip was ever had, probably will only have, so.
Well, the national induction was out in South Dakota this past summer. I didn't fit in there. There's just a whole bunch of old people there. I didn't. I felt weird, but they accepted me, I guess, so. Any other comments?
I think we're good.
Jeff, you can forward me.
Way outside the agenda.
Way outside. All right. Done?
Yeah. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
See you next year with another big check.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
Thanks, Amanda.
All right,
I'm not gonna call him.
5.02 is the Cardinal Care. Jamie Gansky is going to be presenting on this.
All right, well, thank you for having me here tonight. I think you'll notice that I'm actually following the trend of the night because Cardinal Care Mental Health Supports is our mental health support for our students. And I think you can tell by our little viewing of students tonight that we have such an amazing special community, and our students are absolutely amazing and deserve every single ounce of our support that we can give them. You'll also notice the theme that I'm going to have some of our community partners share with you about our partnerships that we have with them in our schools. And so, to start you up, mine is going to be very brief. As your reminder, Cardinal Care is the overall umbrella of mental health supports. Within it, we tend to have three main buckets of support. So last year when I presented to you, I had some of our community therapists that were either in person or shared videos with you about our partnerships for school-based mental health. We also have a student and family assistance program where we're able to pay for 4 free counseling sessions and either 4 free parent or youth coaching sessions. Tonight I'm focusing on our interconnected systems framework, and you are going to see some of our community partners that come in and support both our students and our staff that we're able to fund the supports. And so because of time, I listed a whole bunch of our community partnerships, so although I only have 2 to spotlight tonight, please know that we have a very large amount of partnerships, and I truly appreciate every single one of them, and they are all amazing to come in and work with our schools. For time's sake, I will keep going, and our first spotlight tonight is from Holly's Place. So I think over the years, you may have heard me talk about our miniature therapy horses that come into our schools a time or two. So I do have some of the photos of these amazingly beautiful, cute, adorable, sorry, I'm a little biased, therapy horses that come into our schools. Holly Schindler is the owner of the farm and is here tonight, and we have Nikki Witt who is going to be talking more about what they do at Holly's Place. So Nikki, I don't know if you want to come up. I do have a little brief thing up here about what Holly's Place is, but she also has a handout for you with information and is going to share a little bit about the amazing partnership because they have been coming into our schools for several years. Are we on like year 8-ish almost? I think it's probably around 8 years they've been coming and supporting our students.
So on your handout, there's 2 different sides. So kind of continuing off of what Jamie had said is that we are located in Chippewa. It is Holly's dream child of this farm to be a therapeutic equestrian center. And so we kind of are twofold in different areas. So on site, we offer lessons, summer camps, a lot of ways for kids to get involved, and adults too, but kids to get involved with horses on a lot of different levels, whether it's just coming out and brushing them or doing weekly lessons. We have a lot of different things that kids can do on site. But then off site, we take horses into the schools and partner with this partnership. They also go to memory care facilities, nursing homes, kind of a lot of different areas where equine therapy is beneficial. And we've seen a lot of benefit with kids that have been not only coming to the farm through connections with school, but also when the horses actually come into the schools. There's been a lot of blossoming and a lot of breakthroughs with kids with social emotional learning and things like that. So we love the partnership and we're thankful for the partnership. So, and then on the other side, we are launching a new program. It's called the Reading Herd. It's horse-powered learning, and it is a partnership program that it's basically like enhancing reading skills and phonics skills for kids with the partnering them with the horses. The horses become their books. The horses become their reading partner. It's a way for them to work on skills that maybe some kids are a little bit shyer about, like reading out loud. It also works with math and numbers as well. But so some of those skills maybe where kids kind of shy away, the horses sense that and they're able to connect and give these kids confidence with their reading and their math skills. And so it is a new program that we are launching at the farm as well. And the nice thing about the program is it can travel very well. So it can be done on site, it can be done at different schools, it can be done also in memory care facilities with patients that are potentially having like dementia or like those kind of things where it would help enhance their learning skill, their reading skills or reading retention. So it has a lot of different customizable benefits for kids and adults. So.
I am Holly of Holly's Place, and I know this is short and timed, but I want to thank you guys for allowing me to come and hand out to you. My passion is for horses, and you guys got to see me walk around and hand you all the flyers. What you guys don't know is that I used to be in a wheelchair, and I was in a wheelchair for many years. I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in the year 2000, and I was still working, and a friend of mine said, my physical therapist actually said, get a horse, ride it, you will keep your legs the longest if you ride a horse. I went at it for physical therapy. I'm here standing here talking to you because the horses did something amazing for me. I can physically stand here and talk to you, yay, but I found something out as well, and I know you guys were talking about mental health. MS is a difficult disease, and if I had a bad day, if all I did was pet a horse or hug my dog, my bad days weren't be bad anymore. So then I started to discover that while physical therapy horses were working for me that way, what about this mental health therapy? And can we do, it can't just only work for me. It's got to be able to work for other people. And when you guys had St. Joseph's Hospital here, I went through their program, and we learned all sorts of wonderful things about mental health and youth bases and stuff like that. Sorry, going on. But horses for me obviously is my passion, and I want to thank you for letting me share them with you here and the school. Because yes, they do work. I can't be the only person that they work for. I have had kids suddenly start to talk. When I've gone into my mom's facility, there was one lady in my mom's facility, which is a memory care facility, and the only word she ever knew was help. And for the first 3 years I went to go visit my mom, this lady would only say help. I just happened, my mom loves all animals. I get that from her as well. I brought my miniature horses hoping that I could reach my mom because she has dementia. And while mom was petting the horses, this lady suddenly started petting the horse, and now she starts talking, and staff is wandering, telling me to come over. And I said, is there a problem? And they're like, no, she's talking. And the lady is telling me paragraphs of all of the horses that she's had and that she used to ride and she used to show horses. She got her memory back. She had what's called a very good day. For 3 years, the only word I ever knew that this lady said was help. And suddenly, because she was petting a miniature horse, she's now back to herself. She, like I said, had a very good day, and I got to see who she really was. Great human being that loved animals and was very passionate, much like I am, about horses. I'm sorry if I took so long, but I wanted you to know that it's very much a passion of mine. And again, thanks for letting me come into the school, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Holly. I have one more spotlight for you, and this is Christy Langman. And when I was thinking about it, because I've been in the district 14 years, and I don't know how many years you've been coming in, because I think you might have been coming before I started, but I'm pretty sure how I learned about her was from Sherry Jasper. Probably. So thank you so much, Sherry, for making the connection with me so that I can partner with her and help support our students and staff. So Christy, would you like to share a little bit about what you do?
My name is Christy Langman. I'm a mindfulness teacher, and we are going to start with a little mindfulness practice. This one can help with focus, and it's fun and kind of can bring you back to your childhood maybe. Have you ever tried to pat your head and rub your tummy? Do a little something like that. Fun learning new things and watching your brain like, wait a minute. So this one's called pointer thumb. So go ahead and take one hand and do a thumbs up. And your other hand is going to have the pointer pointing at that thumb. Now, before I show you this, I'm going to tell you I practice this when I teach this. But what you're going to do is then switch. And then switch. Back and forth. and really have to focus your brain and be like, how is it so hard? And I will tell you, it took me weeks and weeks of practicing to become that thumb on that pointer always wants to stick up too. Yeah. So a little, if you're ever sitting and at your computer and have all those tabs open and like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I just need to focus. Little thing you could do, practice to get your brain focused. I teach mindfulness of all ages, and I like to teach mindfulness in lots of different ways. So if you thought mindfulness is just sitting still and quiet, I teach in all different ways so people can find a way that it works for them. I work with staff and students, and the reason that I work with staff is because the research tells us that that is actually the most important piece of the puzzle. We can't address kid mental health without addressing the adults in their lives. And the research literally shows us that just a staff having a mindfulness practice, having a little less stress in their lives, positively affects the people around them. So not just the students, but everyone in their lives. I love to come in and teach in a way that teachers, staff members can integrate it into what's already happening, because I'm a former teacher also, by the way, got my start here in Chippewa Falls. I taught special education and Title I and realized not only did I need more social and emotional support for myself, I was really good at getting into burnout because I cared so much that I didn't know how to care a little less. And I noticed like my students needed these resources as well. So I wanted to learn more about that. So teaching in a way that they can integrate, because teachers, staff members don't need another curriculum that they have to find more time than to integrate. So just how can this be integrated into what is already done? On the next slide are some of the benefits, but what's really cool is neuroscience has kind of caught up with all of this stuff. So we can scan brains after mindfulness practices and see the areas of the brain that have to do with stress, show us that there's reduced stress. That have to do with focus, shows us there's increased focus, and that have to do with compassion, shows us an increase in compassion, and not just for other people, because I think a lot of us in education and parents and grandparents can all know like, I'm really good at being nice to other people, but compassion to ourselves, because we're not always great at getting ourselves a seat at the table as well. So just kind of some great benefits. The feedback that I've had when I've gone into programming, both for staff and students, the feedback that really gets my heart the most is they say more is left of them when they go home for the day. So they're not feeling depleted from that work of being on and being problem solving and attending everyone's needs for the day. They're feeling like they have more left of themselves, and just feeling a little more reinvigorated for the days to come, to have that stamina to do what they love doing. Students have told me I've worked in honestly almost all of the schools, I feel like, in some capacity, but I have for the past 4 years been going to Chippewa Falls Middle School and working with students there. The feedback there is, this is our favorite class. Can we sign up again? In fact, I have students that do come every year, and it's so great because it's the students that, like, I feel like you would never know those are the ones that come and love it. They're the ones that maybe like sit back in the corner, look like they're not paying attention at all, and then I'm like, okay, you guys have been here, what would you like to make sure we do? And they're like shouting out all the things to make sure we do them, and teaching the group as well alongside of me. They ask if I'm going to be at the high school when they go there, and they share. So we learn about emotions, our thoughts, all sorts of things. Mindfulness is the practice of being where your feet are. It's so easy in our brains to get caught up in what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow. So the practice of just being present where we are without judging. So there's just been some great things really with that, and I love to be able to do what I do. So thank you for having me. Thank you.
So to conclude with that theme, I think only in Chippewa Falls can you find the most special community where our partners that are coming in and supporting our students and our staff are absolutely amazing. I don't have enough words to say how much I appreciate our partnerships and appreciate all that they do to help support our schools. So I don't know if you're willing, but if you could give them a round of applause just to say thank you for all their you have any questions?
Is one that, I mean, and I specifically, 2019, things were kind of hard. And she came in and had the whole school in the gym at Homestead, and she had the wherewithal to remind the teachers that kids they don't get their bodies in 4th and 5th grade. So if we were gonna do yoga, don't worry if they're being giggly, because they can't help themselves. So, I mean, the message to give kids that place, to give us as grown-ups permission to let them be. But the coolest part was we had a young woman who had been badly injured in an accident and had refused to walk at that point, even though doctors were saying she could. She got out of her, she was sitting in the back with me, and she kind of crawled out of her chair and she was on the floor doing yoga because she felt safe. And that's something that Christy, in a whole gym, was able to put out there for people. So thank you, because horses, people, kids safety, kids do well, and then they can go ahead and do athletics and do crazy cool things that way too.
Jeff?
I gotta give kudos to you also, Jamie, and the work that you've done over the past several years in order to get us where we are in regard to the providers that we have. I personally have heard about both of your groups, and as a superintendent, I greatly appreciate the things that you do for our students and our staff. I've heard nothing but great things about both of them, so thank you all.
And thank you for showing us this exercise that I'm not mastered. But I'm gonna practice and then make my staff do it. Make them look like they don't know what they're doing. But I mean, I think I really liked your comment about being where your feet are, because too many times we're just focused on other noise, so to speak. And Holly, thank you for sharing your story. That was really impactful. So you could have talked for a whole lot longer and I would have been fine. I mean, that really says something about the power of making connections, whether it's with people or with animals. So thank you all.
And if anybody wants to come see her in action at the farm, my email's on there if you want to come check it out.
Where is the farm?
I'm out in Lafayette, so if you know where, used to be called Autumn Harvest Winery, it's now Dixon's Autumn Harvest Winery, I'm like 1 mile from there.
Cool, that's really close to
You're on one board. Most GPS gets people lost and they end up at Autumn Harvest Winery and then they have to backtrack 1 mile from me.
Are you on, do you live on K? It's none of my business, don't ask.
Autumn Harvest?
Towards Eau Claire, you would have to,
If I live on 00 out there, then I'm on the right road. You're on my road.
yeah, yep, you're right. You're my neighbor.
All right, board members have any other questions? All right, thank you all. One last round of applause for all of you. All right, next is 5.03 District Wellness Action Plan Annual Review. Melissa.
You gotta get in my name. He's been in practice now.
Should be Panchishon.
Yeah. So I'm Melissa Panchishon, the Assistant Food Service Director, and I realized I wanted to do this tomorrow, I guess.
Postmarking you.
So talking about the student nutrition and wellness policy updates, and it sounds like it's not exciting, but I realize it probably is exciting. But last year was the triennial assessment, so we talked about that last year and kind of the results of that. And it's working on any updates to the policy now to make sure we're aligned with, any new rules and regulations that might have came up, and make sure that the policy is aligning to those things, and just going through each of these categories and just making sure we're up to date and with what we're doing and what we're required to do and all of that stuff. So some of the pieces, especially like the nutrition education, physical education, like I'm not a teacher in the classroom and I'm not a curriculum expert, so that's where I'm getting help from others in those areas. I know more of the, obviously, like the food service pieces of it, so those pieces I can tweak a little easier. But so I guess this year is looking at those nutrition education and physical education pieces more closely to get those tweaked and make sure they're aligned to what we do and what we're required to do. And then just some updates. There are some new nutrition standards that are coming. The added sugar started July 1st, 2025. That was, we talked about it last year, but milk, yogurt, and cereal are the 3 items being focused on. And so any of those things, some chose to make adjustments to their products and some chose to just then discontinue. But anything that we're getting now for milk, yogurt, and cereal will fit those added sugar requirements. There'll also be a weekly limit coming in 2027. And then sodium, that's been a long time coming along, and it's supposed to be beginning July 1st, 2027, and it's always been pushed and pushed. So I guess by the time we get to that point, we'll see if we're required to actually implement it now or what changes happen there. There's also a lot of talk in the government pieces of things that, like, what are they going to do with the American health assessment stuff. So those could impact, I guess, the decisions that are made too. So we'll see what decisions are made in the meantime, but this is where we're at. And so that's kind of where the updates I have right now. We'll just see what comes. Might be waiting a while, but sometime maybe there's something coming sooner. I don't know.
Yeah, might ask, Melissa, can you also let them know, one of the things that we did notice from yesterday's lunch is, I know it fits in with this discussion, how are the 2 lines going to work, do you think, now that the adjustments have been made at high school?
So the 2 line, we had 2 lines running yesterday for the all staff meeting. We actually have a 3rd line that will run for the school year, but I think it'll be a change, but I think we'll be able to.
Will it speed it up, you think, significantly, or?
I don't know if it'll speed it up or it might end up being fairly equal, because we're making some changes. So we had styrofoam trays, and we would kind of just load the trays up, and then they would pick what they wanted. They're going to come through now with reusable trays, and so then they'll have to come up and tell us which item they want us to put on their tray now. So there might be some trade-offs. Yeah, but we'll get to see once. So give it a couple of weeks, we'll get our feet under us and with the new system. And we're also technically we had 4 lines that could go through, and now it's 3 lines. But I think it'll still be more efficient because there's a lot more people who can fit in the line while they're to get the different items at the same time, where you really could only fit a few people at a time to get anything. So I think that'll help speed it up a little bit that way too.
So this is probably a dumb question, but if they're gonna be able to, like, tell you what they want, I mean, they can pick and choose. If they just say, I only want mashed potatoes today.
Yep, then we put mashed potatoes on their plate, yep.
'Cause, you know, I'm very old, and so when we were in school, the lunch ladies gave us everything, and we had to clean it all up, and you try to hide the peas in a carton, and it never worked.
Yep. Well, the offer versus serve, so they can come and choose what they want. So the beginning of the line will have some fruits and vegetables offered to them, and they can choose what they like there. The next section would be like our hot entrees, which we would serve to them, and that's where they would let us know what they want. The next section actually has a pizza tray. That's part of the hot entrees, but we're going to try letting them serve themselves for that piece of it. If we need to change to us serving it again, then we'll do that too, but we're going to try it that way. And then they can choose there's always like a sub option, Uncrustable, and a muffin option for entrees. So they probably have like 6, 7 plus entree options every single day. There's also still the garden bar there that they can get a salad. They can either make that their entree. There's some starter pieces for like eggs, ham, or chicken, and they can make that into an actual salad, or they can just make a little side salad with their meal on their tray too. And then there'll be condiments, a la carte options that they choose from, and then the computers at the end where the cashiers would check them out and they can go find their spot to sit with their friends. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how it all runs with all the kids in there. So I always have this, vision in my head of like, this is how it's gonna go, but I guess we won't really know for sure until it happens. So yeah, and it's nice and bright in there, so very inviting, I feel like, and there's even lights over the food so they can see all the things they have offered to them.
Board members have any other questions?
I think next year we need a demo.
Come on over to the high school.
Any way to get food, yeah.
Wow.
Just for you or for the
Bring
whole
it right in.
group of kids?
I thought you wanted a demo of the line. He's like,
Yeah,
just
right.
come on over and.
Here, it's open to public. We can let people come in.
Yeah, that too.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for your presentation. Round of applause.
Melissa.
Thank you.
She's much nicer than the lunch ladies we had.
The fact that
Just
they're
saying.
choices is a big difference.
Yeah, that
Yes.
too.
Or on any of the movies.
Try being on a military base. It's cool.
All right, next, under 5.04 is introduction of new administrators. Superintendent Holmes.
Yes, I have the pleasure of announcing to the board, which those of you that were there yesterday got an opportunity to see. Jill Alexander already at work. She is replacing Melissa Olson at Parkview Elementary School. Jill did a fantastic job in the interview process and quickly won over everybody there. And we're excited to have her here. And one of the things I want to ask you to do, Jill, is point out any school board members you already knew, because she is a resident of Chippewa Falls and her kids went through the system here and actually went through Parkview.
Well, I think I worked as a long-term sub with your daughter, perhaps yes. Sherry, I recognize your face from being around town. Probably have seen you in Gordy's at some point.
It's still Gordy's. Too, and it's not even open out at the lake.
Dave, I've hired you as an attorney for me. Peggy, I've seen you. Were you at the middle school? Yeah. Yes, and the high school. Or just the middle school?
Middle school.
You were, yeah, okay, that's what it was, district office. Sharon, I do not know you.
Well,
She can
So
say.
I'm glad to meet you. Dennis, I don't know you.
My daughter's the choir teacher at the high school too.
Oh, okay, sure, yep. Dennis, I don't know you, but I'm really glad to meet you. Dave, my son was mortified when you brought the cymbals out. That's all I can say about that.
I don't know what these people are.
I heard about it. Oh, you won't believe Mr. Martineau did. And Chad, I just know you as a face that I've seen in the community for many years. I've lived here for more than 30 years, so. My kids have both been through school here. They both attended Parkview School, elementary school, so it's really just a place just close to my heart. I was just completely honored to be offered the position, and when I got Sarah's phone call, I was almost like breathless. I was so thrilled. So I love that school. I love this school district. I had one child who was very studious and one child who was not. And he was a little bit more difficult. He was diagnosed with autism as an adult. So, I had two ends of, one that was real easy with school and one was like, oh boy, I was up at night with, things like that. But the support in this district was what helped him through. And I'll tell you what, he's very successful right now. He is managing a Ford dealership. He works in service, and he's worked in many different areas now. Went through tech college, and it couldn't have been done without teachers like Mr. Martineau, who was crashing the cymbals and busting him in the butt, telling him, you gotta get moving and get your work done. So I'm just really grateful for all of the great educators here in this community. I'm grateful to be a part of this team now, and Chippewa Falls is my home. It just feels so good to be here. So I just want to thank you all for everything. I'm just thrilled to death. I can't say enough. So if I keep talking, I'll get some tears. But so thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Jill, the board right now should get an understanding, we should have an understanding of why I asked you to do that. That excitement and that passion for the school district definitely came through, and I took it as an opportunity for you to exhibit that for the board members so they understood why we were happy to have you here in the district.
Thank you very much. I'm absolutely thrilled. And I tell you, Melissa has paved the way at Parkview like no other principal I've ever known in my career. She has brought such community to that building. I've never felt more welcomed in a new job than I have at Parkview. So Melissa, thank you for all of the wonderful work that you left behind and leaving for me a great path to be on. The staff there is just amazing. It's a testament to your work. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you,
Well, I
Jill.
think that deserves a round of applause. And so,
Oh, thank you.
I think you need your symbols.
I have them, actually.
So that leads me now to Katie and Melissa. Obviously, y'all know both of these individuals already, but one of the things that's important to me to tell y'all, just on my observations this summer, the work that both of them that have been able to accomplish, you know, while Sue did leave us in a very good spot, you know, these two have quickly jumped on opportunities that they've discovered during the course of the transition into their new positions, and both are doing exceptional work to press forward all the things that you as a board have, you know, initiated, certainly through the strategic plan. They're both doing fantastic things. So, welcome to the new positions.
You have an opportunity to take 10 minutes
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
All right.
Let you know if you're making it or not.
Your predecessor, I mean.
Length of reports is what Steve was.
I said, they have an opportunity to take 10 minutes off in our board meetings, just their reports. Sue would get caught up into it, you know.
10 minutes is kind of a short.
Speaking of that, we have a relatively quick report here, I would think. Personnel Administration, OE5. Members of the board have received the CEO's monitoring report on OE5, Personnel Administration. It is now the board's responsibility to consider the report as evidence of compliance in this area. Superintendent Holmes.
Yes, Director of Human Resources, Sarah Deneur, has developed this monitoring report for our review. At this time, I will ask her to provide an overview of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes, and thank you, school board members. As you know, I'm sharing our OE5 Personnel Administration Report that has 11 different operational expectations and 24 specific compliance indicators. I'm happy to report that we are in compliance with all 24 indicators, though I want to be transparent that there are 3 asterisks that you will see in the report, and I'll speak to those in just a moment. Giving you some information about our background checks that we do not only for our volunteers but also for our employees, because we see our foundational responsibility making sure that we have a safe environment for our kids. So this year we processed right around 240 employee background checks and 1,960 volunteer background checks. All of our new hires underwent a different, new, more intense background check, and we've been working well with our new vendor, JDP. We did deny 37 different individuals who were submitting a volunteer request, but we do have an appeal process, and through the appeal process, 5 were able to continue to volunteer in some way, shape, or form for our district. We also have in our succession planning, 100% of our leadership positions having a documented succession plan should we need to access those. Additionally, we have worked on enhancing our mentor program thanks to your approval of that addition last spring to our budget. So really have added some improvements and enhancements, I would say, in conjunction with the teaching and learning department for our certified staff, and then did some more work around our classified or hourly staff, specifically special education assistants and educational assistants, and we continue to expand to all of our different hourly positions that we have. So the 3 indicators that I talked about having asterisks have to do with compliance around expected training. So our goal is for 100% of compliance in all areas. Right now, we're at 97% of employees acknowledging that they've received the employee handbook, and this is for last school year. The 3% gap does include 77% of coaches, 77% of coaches did complete, which means the others didn't. A lower percentage with custodians at 95.5%, and a lower percentage with 81.8% for our lighthouse keepers. So these employee groups are hired at different times throughout the year. Some of them, like our coaches, are seasonal, and sometimes they depart before we even have a chance to follow up with them to make sure that they have completed all of their training. But we are working on some different measures to put in place and some work with those leaders in the different departments. 98% of our employees have signed their job descriptions, but again, we have a couple of areas that are lower, and working with those department leaders to increase those. The final piece is that 96% of our people have completed all the required safety and compliance training. Again, it tends to be our more ever-changing employees. So our coaches who aren't here and working all year for those same reasons mentioned above. And then also we tend to have some more turnover in our buildings and grounds custodial lighthouse keeping positions. So again, working with those leaders to put in different measures and checkpoints to help improve that. So again, we are striving for 100% compliance, but it is a challenge to do that based on some different dynamics that happen throughout our school year. We are between 96 and 98% in those 3 areas, so I do believe that we have solid systems in place, and as we continue just to tweak them and learn more about what works for getting our people to respond and engage in these things, we'll hope to have those numbers even higher for you next year. Compensation, as you know, we engaged in a process review last year that you approved, as well as a compensation study for some of our people in the pupil service department. But I think that having the new comparables of the entire BRC district will help us to stay a desired district when it comes to compensation. We'll talk about our evaluation system a little bit later tonight as well, but I want you to know that all of our certified staff undergo an evaluation. And if they're teaching certified staff, we use what's called the Danielson framework, and that's done through Frontline Education, an online platform. And then we have other in-house tracking for our other certified staff, administrators, and then as well as our hourly staff. This past year, we did implement a new evaluation system for our principals and are making tweaks and improving upon that, but still meets all the requirements of DPI. As we look at our annual employee experience survey that we get through Studer, that provides us with some really good feedback to start to take into consideration when we begin our planning and our development of our scorecard, specifically for the Our People pillar, as well as a few different pillars incorporating the survey results. So that's something that we continue to use and get the feedback from our people on. We've had 0 EEOC violations, and all of our internal harassment complaints have been investigated by our Title IX coordinators and have been resolved according to district policy. As we move into this school year, just wanted to highlight for you what the Our People pillar will be looking to focus on, and that's completing the certified staff compensation study. I've prepped Chad that it's gonna probably be more than he's anticipating, but he's gonna help us through it. So we'll do that along with coaches, substitute teachers, and then any other Schedule C positions. We're gonna review our evaluation systems to increase our meaningful feedback for professional growth for our people. We'll refine our mentor programs across all of our employee groups. We want to explore a district-wide acknowledgement and recognition system and see what that means for us here in Chippewa Falls, as well as understanding what a culture of success means to our people here in Chippewa Falls, and then look to develop more pathways to grow our current and our future leaders. So those are the charges put before us for the Our People pillar. We continue to learn how to more efficiently use the systems, technology systems, even paper and pencil systems that we have in place, so that kind of the things that we are doing can be done efficiently, so we have time to be effective with our people. If you want to learn more about our systems, those of you who attended the Learning Walk got to see all the systems listed on the slides, so I can for sure share all of those with you if you're interested in learning more about our systems. But Raptor has been a really nice addition, which is what we do our background checks on for our volunteers. That's helped with our process and our management of, again, over 1,600 some volunteers for just 1 year. So in closing, this monitoring report demonstrates that we do have systems protecting our students and supporting our employees. We're not just compliant with our legal requirements, but we're building an environment where our employees feel supported, where they feel valued, and that they feel equipped to effectively serve our kids. And again, with the coordination between our department and human resources and all the other departments in our district, we continue to make sure that we have people who are properly licensed, who have been given feedback through the evaluation process, and have an opportunity to provide feedback to improve the place where they spend a lot of their time, called school or work. We'll continue to strive for that 100% participation and completion in our required training and sign-offs. And I do think that our current performance does reflect strong organizational health and commitment to continuous improvement. I don't know if that was short enough, but hopefully it was. And if you have questions, I'm here to answer those the best that I can.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. At this time, I ask for the board's acceptance of the monitoring report.
Board members have any questions related to the acceptance of the report? We still have questions regarding the report itself at a later time, but just as to whether or not we will accept it.
I make a motion to accept the report as ours.
Motion by Martineau to accept the report as our own. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fear. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. OE5 Personnel Administration is now officially in our hands. Board members have any questions now regarding the report itself?
This is probably a dumb question, because I obviously understand you do background checks when someone's first hired. Do you ever do updated background checks as time goes on?
Yes.
It might be in here, but I didn't see it.
So how it's set up for anyone who's certified through DPI, they have to complete a background check to get relicensed every 5 years. So we rely on that. Also in our handbook, it has a self-reporting clause, and so if anybody were to have anything that could flag on a background check that doesn't between when we did it and when we may do it again, they are asked or expected to report that to their supervisor to human resources, and then we take it from there based on what the information that's shared and the information that we get. So that's where we're at right now.
Thanks.
Board members have any other questions?
I guess I'm ready to motion that we accept the monitoring report, personal interests and strengths as presented with noted asterisks.
I think we need to use our operational expectation, which is the in compliance or, what's that?
So what am I writing, boys?
So your motion, you're moving that the district is in compliance with noted exception?
Noted asterisks.
Noted asterisks. That I think we can do.
Watch this, go ahead, Peg.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Martineau, so sorry, Olson motion, second by Martineau. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
And I'm just gonna say, I believe it's, in compliance.
Okay, but if the asterisks are there, that's a technicality though, isn't it?
You know, we've had,
Yeah.
hiring reports where the person's hired and then on the addendum, they've resigned. I understand that, like sometimes you are hiring employees and they are gone before you hardly got them in the system, so I appreciate that she's transparent and honest, but I think that 96, 90 is 100%. That's just my personal view, so.
And we have the ability to do that too. And what's gonna happen is if those exceptions come back, it's gonna affect on our superintendent's review.
If I could offer up. Yeah. I'm really worried. But what I do need to explain is that what I've learned over coherent governance, and I would look to Peggy in particular and Sherry because of the amount of training that they've gotten over the course of time. The reason for you under operational expectations is it's either in compliance, it's not in compliance, or is in compliance with noted exceptions. Those noted exceptions are those places where X's have put in non-compliance. And if the number of in compliance outweighs the number of non-compliance, that's what that's typically used for. You know, the asterisks were put in there and still in compliance because based on what we've learned during the course of this past year of doing research surrounding those particular areas, it was, that was why they had asterisks. It wasn't because, we still believe as an administrative team we're in compliance. But we wanted to be transparent about why we thought we were in compliance, even though that they're not at 100%. When you put those standards that she was talking about up against other institutions and organizations of our type, we're really strong. You know, I would tell you that if it was under 90%, then I would tell you we're just completely out of compliance. But under organizational standards and that research out there and those things, we're well in compliance in that regard.
And I still think that we are in compliance, but there was asterisks, so it had to be noted because there were asterisks, even though there was good asterisks. I mean, obviously you've done a great job on it.
Well, Actually, that shouldn't go as exceptions, because he didn't call them exceptions. He specifically just pointed out what noted asterisks. So I think we're all in agreement with.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify though what noted exception.
It was a very good report, Sarah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was thorough.
Well, now that I've talked about the ins and outs of asterisks, I need to go home.
Both of you.
Oh, Katie.
Okay, so.
Losing control.
Sarah, you gave
Thank you, Ms. Deneur. The board finds that you are in compliance with OE5 personnel administration with a few asterisks. 7.01. Thank you. See what you did, Steve? People are leaving now. 7.01, R22, personal interests and strengths. Members of the board have received the CEO's monitoring report on R2.2, personal interests and strengths. It is now the board's responsibility to consider the report as evidence of reasonable organizational progress in this area. Superintendent Holmes.
Yes, Director Katie Koppenbarger and her team have developed this monitoring report for your review. At this time, I will ask her to provide an overview of the report.
All right, well, thank you and good evening. So Scott, Melissa, and I are going to share a narrative overview. We are the Student Success Pillar leaders, and we're very pleased to be with you tonight to present the R22 Results Monitoring Report. We've achieved reasonable progress on both targets. Target 1 is for students meeting college-ready indicators increased. We had the improvement goal, and we went from 49% to 56%. Target 2, students meeting career-ready indicators, which increased from 77% to 88%. Additionally, overall, college or career readiness rose from 80% to 89% of our students graduating, a 9 percentage point increase for the graduating class. So our Student Success Dashboard provides a comprehensive view of multiple indicators which research supports as valid predictors for future success. The data points on the college ready side show that there's more than one way to be considered college ready. And this is important because we know that no two students are alike. But if they're a solid test taker, they may show they can do really well on the ACT. But if they're not, there's still a way for them to show they are ready for college through their GPA and some of their course selections and rigorous coursework. The same is true on our career side of the dashboard. There's multiple ways to show that they're ready. So in addition to the dashboard data, our report includes multiple examples of how our ACP process supports our students' growth and preparedness while helping them to know themselves, their interests, and their strengths for their future aspirations.
With our consistent gains on the Student Success Dashboard, especially on the side of career readiness, we wanted to specifically highlight several of the indicators that have contributed to those increases. We have included a table in this year's report that allows you to view the overall percentages along with the individual indicator percentages from the dashboard over the last 3 years. As you can see, there are 4 areas that are highlighted: workplace learning, earned industry credit, community service, and co-curricular activities. Through a collaborative effort between the teaching and learning and ed tech departments, as well as the high school, we've analyzed and refined our data collection processes, which has led to more accurate reporting with increased efficiency. Simultaneously, high school departments are revising their curricula. With this increased focus, departments are being encouraged throughout that process to explore and include additional industry credential opportunities that best help prepare our students for post-secondary success. We also anticipate continued increases in community service and co-curricular activities as we further refine our data collection methods.
Our career and technical education programs are integral to this process. Students gain practical experience through work-based learning, internships, and youth apprenticeships. The community partnerships have been essential. The Chamber and CVTC brought CTE tours to 7th and 8th graders in emergency services, healthcare, agriculture, manufacturing, and hospitality. Royal Credit Union provides financial literacy. Local businesses like Myron Construction and ITW host field experiences. But to be career ready, students must have an identified career pathway. This isn't a default category, but requires intentional planning. Students participate in mock interviews, job shadowing, and career spotlight lessons. They complete dual credit courses and attend events like UW Eau Claire Health Science Career Day and UW Stout Cadaver Lab visits. School counselors support this through individual conferences, course scheduling aligned to the pathways, financial aid nights, and planning for CVTC academies, and early college credit programs. This comprehensive approach ensures students just don't explore careers theoretically, but gain real-world experience and skills that prepare them for post-secondary success. So our report also includes progress that we've made in the development of our On Track to Be College or Career Ready dashboards for the elementary and middle school levels. So we're utilizing the dashboards now at all levels to help guide our pillar goals and actions. And we'll continue to work to decrease demographic group gaps, which were included in this report. We'll also be working to refine our definition of lifelong learner attributes at the elementary and middle school dashboard so they align to support our portrait of the graduate attributes. Any questions?
Thank you. At this time, I would ask the board's acceptance of the monitoring report.
Board members have any questions before we decide to accept this report as our own? All right, I would look for a motion to accept R 2.2. Personal interests and strengths. Motion by McElwain. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fear. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. R 2.2, personal interest and strength, is now our report to discuss further and decide using our results policy motion language whether the district has made reasonable progress. Board members have any questions to make that determination.
I'm really intrigued by UW Stout Cadaver Lab.
No, and I emphasized it because I was intrigued by it too. Yes. I'm gonna learn more about that because it's a field trip that they can take.
The health science, biology, I mean, what kind of classes go to, I want to take along next time they go, to be honest.
We'll invite you, and I think a lot of it is driven with student interests and what are being offered. So if we've got a group of students that are interested, Laura Buchendorf really leads a lot of that too. She's gonna find opportunities and find neat things to get hooked in.
That's really, I mean, those are amazing opportunities.
Just one quick question. I know that when you're doing the ACTs, we run into issues with college-ready kids are going to focus more on the ACTs than the career-ready who maybe just take a fly at it. Do we ever break that down to see how that scores differently on the ACT with a focused college-ready student looking at the ACTs as a place as versus a career-ready who just has to show up that day because he's told to?
This counts as just the way we're looking at it is, it's one of the indicators that can show that they're ready. So even if they're really aspiring to go to a four-year college, they may not do well on the ACT, or they may take it at a time where they're not thinking they're gonna do four-year college. And then it changes, their perceptions. So a little bit and probably stronger scoring, right? If they know that's where they want to go. But again, it's also defining college, which doesn't necessarily mean a four-year institution. It's our technical colleges are colleges, our community colleges are colleges. And so a student may say, I'm not college bound, but really have strong intentions to have additional training afterwards. So, and there's also kiddos that think they're gonna go to college and start and then decide, nope, this wasn't for me, and they're out. So.
But also to Mr. Olson's question, there is work being done with Katie's department, Scott's department, and in particular, the one person that is going to be integral to breaking it down to that degree. Mm-hmm. And then making sure that we're not doing anything that's personally identifiable and reporting the breakdown of that information is Mike Burrow. So that work is being done. It is what I thought would have been simpler is not quite so simple.
I do kind of, you prompted a thought of a question. I would be interested to see students at the high school who take AP classes, what their ACT scores look like versus students who did not take AP classes. I think that may be a better indicator, like for kids that are planning for four-year college. They've given some thought if they've taken AP classes. It would just kind of, I don't know how much it would tell us, but it would be very interesting.
Interested in a correlation study.
Yeah, just like because then what we can do is we can tell kids, if you're really thinking about a four-year college, then AP classes really help you with the ACT test, which then, improves your chances of getting into the school that you want. So any ammunition you have for students to give them to say, look, the ACT is really important and AP classes are really important, and we can show you the correlation, I think would encourage some students to think differently about their path.
And I appreciate both of your points in that regard. It's one for me where I've even asked the state, all right, you do a socially and economically disadvantaged score on your state report card. Why don't you include an affluency consideration on that report card?
Well, I've been told, like right now at CVCT, you don't need an ACT, but in the next couple of years, they're gonna require it. So going forward, even if you're gonna go to technical college, the ACT is gonna have more value than it has now.
Technical colleges are getting a lot more choosy about the students that go there.
I think what's very important too, and this goes into that portrait of a graduate, of being a lifelong learner and resilient, because it is that you may not do well there, but there's another pathway for you to show you can do well, and it doesn't have to be just a snapshot. And colleges have gotten better at understanding that too. So I think that's really important. And then you're never done. There's always something you can do, and every child deserves to have to learn how to work hard and persevere. And the AP courses, whether you think they're going to pass or not, I want a child to have an opportunity to take it and show that they can.
If there's any work I'm gonna miss in retirement, it's that particular work right there. I've been a long proponent as instructor and as an administrator that the current accountability model that the state uses does not give an accurate portrait of what a school district does in terms of educating its students. Again, based on my years of experience in both instruction and as an administrator, again, when I look at this district and the work that's taking place that started before I got here, but has certainly continued even while I've been here, is that this district is probably maybe 2 or 3 years away right now through that as with Portrait of a Graduate as part of the work that's been going on. This district's almost at a point where it can start providing its own accountability report card.
We're getting much better with our data collection in there too. And it really, I mean, it's at the heart of where kind of the department shift name from curriculum instruction to teaching and learning, because we all know how impactful a teacher can be. You may not remember what they taught you, but you remember how they taught you. And your learning is what you're celebrating, not what, but that you can learn more. And so it's more than just what's on the written page, but it's the magic that happens when it's taught. And that process is what inspires kids to be lifelong learners. Can I add also, so as a parent of 2 children who are adult children now in their 20s, and similar to what Ms. Principal Alexander explained about her kids, very different, I also had that experience. And my one that had a different path actually started at CVTC, finished a 1-year program for his position, but then decided, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life, and put himself back into school. And I think that's some of the things that are going to be reflected in that Portrait of a Graduate, and those attributes of the lifelong learners and different other opportunities. And I'm very thankful, not only as an employee for the district, but as a parent, that he was given a very good foundation, and that when he was 20 years old, as opposed to 18 years old, said, wait a minute, I need to shift, and he had all those skills to be able to do that. So, and I had one that went on a 4-year path, and one that went on a very different path, and is very successful right now in finishing his associates, and will have more letters after his name than his brother, who just got his BS. So.
And the state's accountability system for districts and schools does not reflect any of those aspects of what schools do.
And that's, I think it's important, because he did that on his own. He didn't do that because his mother wanted him to do that. He did that because he knew he needed it.
I think school reports, when they started coming out, was supposed to be the end-all, be-all. And I think anybody in education knows that they're kind of useful in a way where you can kind of track your progress, but really there are other measures, especially communities, parents, they know the score. And so I think they can be trusted far more than a state
Snapshot.
Yeah.
It's essentially a snapshot.
Well, yeah, but anyway, so.
Any board member like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion. Oh.
Are there any asterisks involved?
I'm not talking asterisks.
Just checking.
The language is made reasonable progress or has not made reasonable progress.
It doesn't have it here. I didn't know it. I make a motion that the district has made reasonable progress in tracking personal interests and strengths.
Thank you. Motion by Martineau, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fear. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Thank you all for your presentation. Next is the board's consent agenda. Would any board member request that any item be removed from the board's consent agenda for separate consideration? Hearing none, I will look for a motion to approve the board's consent agenda as presented.
Motion.
Motion by Martineau, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by McElwain, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, the board's consent agenda is approved as presented. Next is the superintendent's consent agenda. Would any board member request the removal for separate consideration of any items of the superintendent's consent agenda? Hearing none, I would look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion.
Motion by Martineau, is there a second?
Second it. Oh, I think Steve did.
Second by Olson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The superintendent's consent agenda is approved as presented. Next, under 10.01, no items were removed from the board's consent agenda. No items were removed from the superintendent's consent agenda. So 10.03, consideration of district brochure for superintendent search. Second reading.
9.02.
9.02, where did I go?
Do I have a different thing going
That's,
on?
yeah, that's all under the superintendent's
Okay,
consent.
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Consideration of the district brochure for the superintendent consent search, doesn't say whose name it is. Is that you, Mr. Trowbridge?
I can take care of it.
Okay.
Back in 2020, McPherson Jacobson did do a brochure for us. And at that time, the board did approve the brochure, or the concept of developing a brochure. Because they have a template, they can do this for a reduced cost versus what the normal add-on contract price was. So we thought we would bring it forward to the board for consideration. It probably is something that would be a good idea, not only for prospective candidates, but a marketing tool, if you will, to promote the availability of the position at various conferences and seminars that they attend.
I think it's a very reasonable fee to update the brochure.
Especially at the discounted rate.
Yeah. I'd make a motion to approve the $250 to, what's the second name?
Jacobson.
Thank you. Complete updated brochure.
Motion by McElwain, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Martineau. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The district has approved the brochure at the reduced price. Thank you, Mr. Trowbridge. 10.04, consideration of the Walton Nation project proposals. Let's see. Mr. Holmes.
Yes, the board was provided background information and recommendation from Mr. Trowbridge and I. The reason it was framed the way it was is because once we did receive the donations plus donation proposals plus the one recommendation from a group of 76 teachers out of the high school, we quickly noticed during the course of that the differences between each of the proposals and how to balance that with the Volt trust and how that letter came to us and so forth. It was one for me where, you know, first of all, I'm going to state this and I'm going to state it out loud. You know, $1 million per school, or $2 million total dollars to the district. During the course of my career and in the course of my lifetime, I've seen families break up over those kind of dollars. All right. You know, as an administrator who does talk to staff quite often and does have staff approach them, this is one of those instances for me where what I was hopeful would occur was that we would be able to bring things to you right away where you could make a quicker decision. And based on what we were presented with and based on things that both Chad and I have heard from staff members along the way, it's one where I do think the board should schedule a special meeting in the future in order to talk about these things, certainly to a greater degree. I did like the idea of the interview process and thought that that was an excellent idea, personally. I do think it's one that, in your jobs as board members, you're gonna have some tough decisions ahead of you in that regard. So when we provided it in the manner that we did so because we wanted to create something that was going to be anonymous at this juncture to the greatest degree possible, and also to allow board members to have an overview of those, because I also agree with them. I wouldn't ask you to make decisions on these without you getting those full proposals and see, yeah.
Because that was
I'm
gonna be
not
my
withholding them. I withheld them right now because they're not, at this juncture, they're not public record. Once I provide them to you as board members,
Everybody can see them.
everybody can see them.
No, go ahead.
Thank you. I was going to suggest that we schedule a special meeting even before somebody brought that up, because this is too important a decision. It's not an emergency decision. We don't have to decide right now. I want us to make the right decision. And I also agree that the interview, allowing everybody to come and state their, even if we have to have 2 special meetings, I think people put time into those proposals and they deserve the opportunity to present their case, so to speak. So
Well, that's why we put
I think we
in
need to
there.
take the time to make the right decision. That's, I guess, what
I
I'm saying.
agree. This was not one where I wanted the board put in a position where you had to make a rash decision or felt compelled to have to make those at this meeting.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think the gentleman who was kind enough to donate the money deserves some more consideration from us on how we spend that. I will say this, looking at the synopsis, when I know one project is much larger than the other, but everything has run over costs. And so my fear would be that the district would be on the hook, which I'm not opposed to, but I think that if it were me, I am an advocate for having a facilities referendum and tying 2 of these into that referendum, and then using the money in some way or fashion, right, to precipitate, right, launching those projects. So I know I'm probably getting a little ahead of myself, but I don't think any of those projects are bad projects. But I think that there's a lot more to them than just one sheet. And as far as I know, building projects, they take years to organize and understand fully what the implications are.
Well, I was hoping they would stick around to hear why I didn't provide the full proposals. Because once I give them to you, they become public record.
Well, again, this is a pretty tight-knit community. I'm guessing quite a few people already knew before you handed them to us.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's small town. I understand small town politics.
But yes, there's some other costs that have to be considered along with those, and some other responsibilities that we have to take on, which personally I am more than willing to be an advocate for. I don't know how the rest of the board feels or the community feels, but that's where we can either educate or, right, give information to the community. I think they would help, so.
I think at the end of the day, I'm sorry, go ahead, Peg.
And we could go back to another meeting, but I think it's also important for us to have the donation letters so that we make sure that whatever we choose aligns with how they wanted those dollars spent.
And at the end of the day, this is a positive, not a negative. So like I said, that whatever decision, this is a positive. And so I definitely feel this is a special meeting because there's all the ramifications and all the discussions, and everybody deserves to be heard as
far as the submittals and stuff, so I think this is a meeting all by itself.
Yeah.
And I
What
think-
were they speaking about when they were referring to AI?
When
That-
I
think
when
they
I
agree with the
created
pros and
when I had
cons.
pros cons, I used AI to help. I
You must have
depersonalized.
let them know that, or did they plug it in?
Oh, I told them ahead of time. I told Bruce, I said, go look at what I've provided to the board, because you need to see it.
Okay.
You know,
So, I think Ms. Hobley's suggestion of having an interview process, I think is, it sounds like the board is very interested in doing that. So, so what we need to do is make a motion to table this decision and schedule a special meeting. Is that the motion that you're looking for?
Can I make one point before you do
Oh.
that? Just on behalf of the Stilson folks, they needed some more time. That, obviously that's a relatively new facility, so they want to be very thoughtful. And it was hard for them to develop a whole lot of proposal when their staff wasn't here for the summer. So they want to take this time to, do this very thoughtfully and submit good proposals too. I assured them money's not going anywhere, and we had a July 31st deadline, but it's going to take longer for them.
And I do think we need to bring this up at this time. One of the things that Chad's been doing is working with the attorney that's supposedly in charge of it, and I think you need to explain to the board where that's currently at.
Yeah, I mean, we anticipated we'd have some funding by the end of June. We haven't seen it yet. I reached out last Monday, not yesterday, but a week ago Monday, for an update and have not heard back. I don't know why that is, other than.
I do not
For an
want people
update.
fighting over something that we don't have yet.
Yes, there is no rush on
Well,
this.
just to be clear, as a board and us continuing to discuss this at another meeting, we're not limited to any of these. We're not contractually limited to this. This was just, these are ideas and how we wanted to present to us. The board is free to do whatever we want at the next meeting.
So my motion to table any
Actually, it's
decision.
postponed to, table means it's just done.
Okay, postpone.
So post to a date
Sorry,
certain
we used the wrong
for a
word.
special meeting.
But
Well,
postpone any decision
This is a big
until we
money
have.
thing, so I don't want somebody to come back and say, oh, you said, anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, motion to postpone this decision by Martineau until we have a special meeting and more information. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by McElwain. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
It's
All
funny,
right.
Chad, because I was gonna ask you if we had it in an interest-bearing account, but apparently not, because we don't even have it yet.
Not at this.
Well, Mr. Holmes, thank you for the thought
Yeah.
of not having to make a decision. I was pulling my hair out this afternoon trying to figure a way to ask you what we were gonna do with it.
Could I also suggest that, that you put together the format or the agenda for that meeting as far as the order, what are our goals, what do we wanna accomplish, or, just, rather than come in here, we should have some kind of a format prior to that, so we all know what we're getting into and how it's going to be
And
addressed.
so the people
Yes.
coming,
So
what
sort
to
of we'll
expect too.
have a special agenda meeting for that. Yeah, we can do that.
Sounds good.
You're asking me, but you know who should be getting the credit for that, right?
Well,
There you go. All right. Okay, next is 10.05, consideration of the employee handbook revisions. Ms. Denura.
So thank you again for your time. I did provide a memo, and I apologize, but timing just didn't allow for this to be prepared for you in June so that our administrators could think clearly about what I was talking with them about, and then didn't necessarily allow the time for me to do what I've now been able to do, which is meet with our administrators, share a draft with our our people committee who have served and given feedback on the handbook before, and then sent out the memo as a draft to all staff, and then I was available on Monday, which is why you didn't get it till late, to answer any questions after we finish our opening day schedule, and to answer any questions and give feedback. So what I am proposing is that we align our practices to both state statute and board policy. Right now, our practices are above and beyond state statute and board policy, which is not a bad thing until it becomes an overload for our administrators. for staff members who are not in need of a significant amount of feedback when they're here in their first 3 years. Our administrators will continue to have the opportunity to add on as many observations as they feel necessary to best understand the practice and the performance of the people that they supervise. But this would just give us a little bit more flexibility so that we would do a full summary year, which is what the state statute and board policy states for every new hire to our district who's certified, and every 3 years thereafter. Again, with the opportunity for even more in between those times. This does not impact compensation whatsoever. Evaluations are tracked in Frontline. Compensation is tracked in Skyward. So by changing, again, it would impact people who were hired in 2023, in 2024, because they would be new to District 2, new to District Summary. They would switch to a different category for evaluation cycle purposes, but they would continue to move on the 3 steps to get to the next step through this year. And then the new process goes into place where we're having an annual increase every year anyways. So this would have to be updated, or will need to be updated again at the end of this school year.
So that essentially saves administrators from doing an evaluation every single year for a new teacher for the first 3 years.
Yes, if deemed that they have met the
Yeah.
expectations and performance level.
And for those that don't know, evaluations take a long time for the employee and even longer for the administrator, so.
And so the purpose is not to make less work for our employees, it's to provide or for our administrators, it's to provide them the opportunity to give more focused feedback because they're not spread as thin potentially in their observations and the feedback that they're expected to give. So you can see the shifts and changes and what I'm proposing in the memo that you were provided. And I just want to see if there's anything else that I want to highlight. So nothing more because you did have some time to review it, but I'm happy to answer questions or clarify anything that was in here that I shared tonight. And the reason for tonight is it goes live for our teachers on September 1st, and if we change anything after September 1st, any work our teachers have done in the system is lost, and they have to start over. So we need to have our system set by September 1st.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, no pressure.
So we have the capability to do that if you accept the recommendation for the change.
Board members have any further questions on this? Otherwise, I would look for a motion to approve the revisions of the employee handbook as presented.
So move.
Motion by Olson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fear, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries, thank you, Mr. Newman.
Thank you.
10.06 is resolution authorizing temporary borrowing in an amount not to exceed 6.7 million, issuance of tax and revenue anticipation promissory notes and participation in the PMA levy and aid anticipation notes program. Mr. Burbridge.
Thank you. This is an annual process for us by where we need to borrow to meet our cash flow needs. We have participated in this pooled program, I should have looked, for probably better than 10 years. It is a way for us to be more competitive and be more attractive to borrowers, to be able to give money in a larger sum to a group of school districts. What you have in front of you is a parameters resolution. It is very similar to what we've looked at in the past. We go through a cash flow analysis, determine what our needs are. There's a threshold by which we can borrow to. What you have is a not to exceed 6.7 million, and it kind of authorizes us to execute documents on the board's behalf so that all of the entities involved in this program don't have to try to coordinate board meetings on the same night to get this closed. So saves you some meetings.
Board members have any questions?
Do we have to also authorize you in part of the motion to
It's
sign?
included. It's included.
In the resolution? Yeah, okay.
So the recommended action is to approve a resolution authorizing temporary borrowing in an amount not to exceed 6.7 million, issuance of tax and revenue anticipation promissory notes and participation in the PMA levy and aid anticipation notes program. Would anybody like to make such a motion?
So
Motion.
moved.
Motion by Fear, second by Marco. Any further discussion? Clerk, roll call, please.
Alan Spear.
Aye.
Dave Martino.
Aye.
Sherry Jasper. Aye. Sharon McElwain.
Aye.
Peggy McKillop. Aye. Steve Olson.
Aye.
Dave Check.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Trowbridge.
Thank you.
Communicating with the board, 11.01 is the enrollment update. And back to Mr. Trowbridge.
Thank you. This is our pupil count numbers as of last Thursday, I believe. Just to kind of keep you updated, we do this throughout the summer. We do see ins and outs every day. So it is a number that, or it is data that does fluctuate periodically. We are seeing, you know, I looked from the, back to the July meeting, we do see an uptick in 4K enrollment, which is really, really good to see. So up 7 from last month. Overall, our K through 5 numbers are up 7 from last month. Middle school is up 7. High school is up 6. We did include the open enrollment data that's in the reporting system called Opal. It's very complex. It includes all applications, and it is way overinflated, especially in the area of out. So these are families that have just kept their options open, may move in, may move out, may have done that throughout the course of time. So I would expect that to normalize as we approach the first day of school, and certainly as we get toward the September pupil count. There are a couple areas that I think we've mentioned each of the 3 months. We've got some class sizes that are a little higher than what we would like to see. Always activity in every one of those areas on a weekly basis. So our team has been working on options and solutions to help try to address that. Just shy of automatically hiring somebody and find out we've got 10 kids that moved away and we didn't need them. So a lot of short-term and long-term, immediate term after the third Friday count kinds of solutions on things that are even a little bit innovative.
Innovation is good.
So
See.
sometimes.
Questions about enrollment? Again, just like to keep you up to speed as to where we're at and some areas that we're keeping an eye on.
It's appreciated.
Yes, it is. All right, thank you again, Mr. Trowbridge. Next is 11.02, the superintendent search update. Back to Mr. Trowbridge along with Mr. Dara.
We didn't flip over this, did we? So just an update, the search firm has updated and finalized the job posting. That'll be live on their website beginning September 24th. We have also launched, with their assistance, our superintendent search webpage on our page, where families and community members can kind of keep an eye on the process and see any updates that are going on there. Stakeholder survey is available on the webpage, and it's also been shared through Campus Messenger and on the district social media channels. In addition to that, the focus groups are being set up and finalized for September 10th. Quite a bit of activity behind the scenes, getting ready for that posting to go live.
Again, Angela's doing great work, which is not a surprise to any of you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The only input I have is the two of you may want to ask Angela to flip that for who's saying what next month.
Okay.
Got it.
All right, board members have any questions regarding the superintendent search update? Next is 11.03, summer school programming. Katie Koppenberger.
So we have had a robust summer program of learning, including some formal recovery courses that occurred for 3 weeks, and then in addition, a lot of community partnerships and additional activities. So during our academic programming, we had increased elementary from 180 students to 241. That was a pretty big jump of getting students engaged in that additional 3 weeks of learning. Middle school was also up from 74 to 99. High school was the same at 79, 79. And then in addition to that, there's just all kinds of offerings. Our teachers work all year round, and they do it, I think, because they love being around kids and they like to have that contribution continuing to go. So, you know, the band and choir and the wire choir and the things they're doing, summer conditioning, and working with partnerships with Pablo Center and Eau Claire Children's Theater and all of that. So really robust program, a lot of people to thank for it, because there's a lot of people that contribute to that process. So I don't know if you have any questions. We're still working on the DPI report that goes in, because we're still collecting minutes.
I do have a comment. I am excited that summer school continues to be, it doesn't cost the district anything to do it. And to Katie's point at the end of the report in regard to, it does help us tremendously with student academic growth and achievement. But you know what really stood out on this report for me? And, you know, again, it's how my mind works. This is a left justified document, and if you go to the last paragraph,
Yeah,
there's a straight.
That's
like you could
literally
do
what
a
I'm looking
straight
at
line,
right now.
Right?
And I'm calculating that there's a space between every word, 1 out of 5, so 1 out of 125, 500, it's like 1 out of 30,000 or something.
At least.
Does anyone else see that? Wow, that's scary that I think like you. But yes, that last paragraph, if you notice, a straight line.
Can be drawn through it.
I'm so glad you noticed. It took me forever to get it to be like that.
Right?
Chad, what
You
is
ask
that?
AI to do that, yeah, right.
25 to the power of 5, or 5 to the power of 5, what do you think?
5 to the power of 5?
To the power of 5. 5,
yeah,
125.
I don't get beyond squared or
600,
cubed very often.
Well, 3,000.
3,000, yeah.
1 out of 3,000 to have that happen.
You very rarely ever see that.
I'm gonna
I
say
didn't
this.
notice it when you said something.
I think the board meeting has lasted a little bit.
That is weird that I was looking at that while you were saying. All right, well, we'll bring that up in the discussion of board activities. But any more questions about the summer program?
Yeah, we've been here a long time.
All right, thank you, Ms. Koppenberger, for your presentation. Next is discussion of board activities, CSA 10 Annual Convention. Mr. Martineau?
Attended, met a couple of interesting people there. He was the superintendent, Mr. Geyer.
From Neilsville.
He said some nice things about Mr. Trowbridge. I told him I didn't believe he knew you because he said all those nice things. But they voted on new board members, and it was good to touch base with a lot of people that were there.
All right, August 18th, mentor-mentee luncheon. Is anybody at that?
I got there late, I left kind of early, but I met 4 Homestead Hawks who are now working for the school district that are brand new, so that was pretty cool. No, it's a cool, you know, it's a real condensed, it's literally lunch, but it's just fun to see all the new faces and touch base and try to shake hands and say welcome to the district. Lots of energy.
All right, August 25th was the all-staff kickoff. No choice but to let Sherry Jasper speak on that.
I thought she did okay. I thought the rap was really good. I really did.
Appreciate it. All right, thank you. Discussion of meeting. Here, we should have some exciting comments here. What a fun meeting, right? We have fun, teachers have fun, kids have fun.
You know, I was hoping there was a paragraph that had a straight line through it so we could add that to the conspiracy theory.
All right, everybody get a chance to speak at this meeting?
I just thought it was bonus.
We have a chance. It's 8:59.
You really need to get out. I'm just saying.
Everything we're ending ahead of the.
Future agenda items and upcoming events, September 3rd, first day of school, September 12th, Coffee and Commerce at the Caribou Coffee at 8 o'clock a.m., September 22nd, 4:30 p.m., business after hours at Connell's Family Orchard, September 23rd, Board Learning Walk, Pupil Services Center, September 23rd also is the regular board meeting, October 2nd and 4th, Wisdom Sharing in Philadelphia, Katie, Sarah, and Angela are attending, October 28th, WASB Fall Regional Meeting at Florian Gardens, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. This is the same night as our board meeting. Sherry let them know this, that we will be unable to attend.
Sherry and I are not gonna get our certifications now.
That was the one meeting that was gonna push me over. Now we can't go over.
All right, and then, to be determined at 5:00 PM is our Chippewa Falls Max meeting. Max would like to meet on November 18th instead of the 25th. Will that work for everyone? Isn't that always
So,
same as our regular?
So we
look at
It is. So
scheduling
we are
our.
meeting the week of Thanksgiving this year, where we've normally pushed it a week before. They are not meeting the week of Thanksgiving, so they're wondering if we would meet with them the week of their board meeting instead.
Do we wanna consider?
Or moving our board
Moving our
meeting.
board meeting? I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
do it at the same, on the same night, you mean, right?
yeah, I
Like
mean,
we always do.
we might have administrators or what, board members that wanna travel for stuff.
Is there a reason we're doing it different this year, that we moved it to the Thanksgiving week?
It was due to the superintendent search and, that timeline.
But that would, if anything, moving it up wouldn't be a problem, would it? Because we're talking about moving it forward.
John?
May require a special meeting for you to consider, because that's when the initial round of interviews were scheduled, that kind of 2-week time period.
Okay. Well, what do board members think?
Which would probably have a separate consideration for that anyway,
So we might get to meet on the 18th and the 24th,
perhaps.
25th.
or whatever it
It
is.
would be the Tuesday, right?
So that's still 3 months away. So, or do we just wanna maybe meet with the Max during their time and then we don't have a meeting then?
I'm open on either one of those nights right now.
I think everyone's kinda indifferent on that, it sounds like, so.
Maybe push it off until next month.
Good.
That's a little
We'll see if
close.
anyone cares about it more by then, and then maybe Chad, if you could provide us information from them, does it really matter for us, do we have to do this? And,
From our search consultant,
yeah,
we can take a look at the
And you
timeline.
haven't decided about the 18th yet with Max. They are asking me for planning purposes, so do
Oh,
you want
well,
me
that-
to tell them that they need to wait till September?
that we could probably tell them yes to, because if we move our meeting to that date, we're gonna meet with them. If we decide not to, we're probably still gonna meet with them on that
Okay.
extra date,
So
right?
we're all good with
Yeah,
that? Sure.
so, yep.
Okay, sounds good.
Gotcha.
Good catch. All right, then we just need a motion to adjourn at 9:03 PM. Or wait, which is still ahead of the 9:25 schedule.
You guys did a nice job building that
I
schedule.
make a motion to adjourn, since no one else is
Motion
speaking
by,
up like we're gonna.
motion by Mackalum, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Martineau, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, we stand adjourned. If I had symbols, I'd crash.